Hey there, Safecrackers, get your combinations ready because it is time for the Comic Vault! That's right, a vault full of comics that happens to include the Phantom! Phantom issues 4 and 5 specifically. So, Phantom, courtesy of one of our great, wonderful, awesome viewers, thank you for sending us these Phantom issues. Anyway, Phantom 4 and 5. Phantom 4 and 5 is all about this Phantom coming back to the United States, where he spent his youth, or at least a lot of his youth, from childhood to maybe late teens, early adulthood, we'll say, and late teens, late adolescence, early adulthood, and he comes back to this area to help a friend, a black man who is experiencing hate crimes, and the black man runs this newspaper, so he's also experiencing vandalism and violence and threats on his life that culminate in attempts on his life. So the Phantom comes back to the United States to help him. Now, I have a small complaint about the idea that the Phantom spent his youth in America. I understand that you want the Phantom to be a little worldly, but wouldn't you want him to experience life a little differently? I feel like that's a strange thing to do, like isolate him in one country for his youth. Granted, sure, maybe he traveled a bit, but I would want, I don't know, if I had a son that was going to become the Phantom, I might want to train him myself instead of sending him to America so that he can get his physical training from football and his emotional training from some people that I hardly ever see, or maybe never see, because he sent them to live with like a distant relative of some kind. Anyway, or maybe they were his aunt and uncle, but of course that's really weird, considering that the Phantom's son, so it couldn't have been his aunt and uncle. It would have been some people. Ah, I know who it was. Ah, I just thought of this. Maybe it was the Phantom's mother's relative, so of course he's going to have somebody who lives in the United States that he's related to. Not the Phantom, or not the father, but the mother. Anyway, moving on. I don't know why that just now occurred to me, but so that makes sense for who he's living with, but it's a strange idea to me that you would send your son to another continent to be raised away from you so that he can come back and become the Phantom. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so here's something. Of course, this is entitled Hate in the USA and the Phantom Unleashed. So right now what we're getting with these two these two issues being paired together is that there is hate in the United States, and the Phantom Unleashed, there is a righteous fury that gets released. Why? Because bigotry's awful. It's terrible. Nobody likes bigotry. Well, no rational person likes bigotry, and that's the thing. That's the nature of it. That's what bigotry is. It's an irrational hatred of an undeserving party. It's, and fair enough. You know, it's I get where they're going with this. I will say this. I will briefly say that I find it unsettling how much United States bigotry stories there happens to be. I find that displeasing, but because I like to think of Americans as being a fairly progressive bunch. I don't know. Maybe that's me wearing rose-colored glasses, but I feel like we can all universally get behind the idea that bigotry is bad, that racism is a bad thing. So, yes. Now, onto the story. One of the things about using they're kind of the Ku Klux Klan. They're kind of supposed to be those people. They're wearing hoods. Granted, they kind of look like Cobra Commander more than they do the Klan, but that's sort of the point, is that they're supposed to look like the Klan. So, or at least they're supposed to be reminiscent of the Klan. So, see here, I have notes. Oh yeah. When you make racism or racists the primary cause, the raison d'etre of your villains, you take away pretty much any ability to relate to those people. They become just sick individuals. They become evil people, and they become less characters and more archetypes. And granted, you know, how are you going to make a racist somebody to relate to? I mean, I don't know how you're going to do that, but but that's it becomes all about having the stuff that's peripherally going on. It's like the races are a force of nature. Now, that being said, we don't get a lot of interesting characterization on the villain side, but there is a little bit of an explanation that the Phantom offers up, and I feel like this is worth mentioning. I have not found the exact quote, but the gist of it is that bigots have this irresponsible idea in their lives that they have this irrational hatred because they see something missing in their life. They see something fundamental, a fundamental part of their life missing, and they don't know what that is. So instead of taking responsibility for their lives and trying to better their lives and themselves, they decide to focus their hate and anger for that thing that's missing. They focus that hate and anger on some undeserving party, be it race, creed, color, whatever. So I feel like that's worth mentioning. I think that's a lot of interesting. Now, the story that really takes place in this is the Phantom comes back and helps his friend who's experiencing these hate crimes and rekindles things with the woman who we meet in the Peter David 4-issue run that came out before this, that this is of course connected to. It introduces her a little better. It introduces her a little more interestingly. So we get that they have backgrounds because she and he and his friend all grew up in the same town and they were all very close to each other. And one day he just cuts and runs. Why? Because his father died and he had to go become the Phantom. That he is entirely unprepared to be. Because, of course, as we all know, football in public school makes you entirely prepared to be the protector of a jungle territory. Anyway, so I feel like this is a worthwhile two-issue story arc within the 13-issue series. I enjoyed it, but I did not enjoy it as much as issues 1, 2, and 3. So 1, 2, and 3 are great. We'll get to 6 and the rest of them eventually. Thanks for watching the Comic Vault, and if you'd like to donate to the Comic Vault, you can donate things to Geekvolution, P.O. Box 14183, Lenexa, Kansas 66285. Thanks for watching the Comic Vault. Of course, I'm Vince, this is Geekvolution, and this was the Comic Vault. We'll catch you later.